Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced blockbuster podcast, Roving with Rachel, coming to you straight from beautiful Belize, where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, here is your brand new BFF, Rachel Jensen.
Hi everyone, Rachel Jensen here. I am located on an island off the coast of Belize mainland, and while Belize in Central America tends to be less expensive than North America or some of the more developed countries, it is very easy to live like a tourist here. And what I mean by that is you're going out to all of these higher end restaurants, or you're participating in tons of tours, or really just living like a tourist. And if you decide to live like a tourist, it can be expensive. If you want to live like a local, it can be affordable. You can have that in between as well. You can go get your dollar tacos. You get 3 tacos for 50 cents US. Or you can go have a $15 US breakfast at a beachfront restaurant. It really is up to you and how it is that you want to spend your money. You can live off beach for $900 or $800 a month US, or you can live beachfront for $2,500 US a month. It really just depends how it is that you want to spend the funds. So it can be expensive if you want it to be. It can also be very affordable. I know here in our office, something that we like to do is just get the local lunches, $5 US, and get you a nice tray of food, and maybe you'll have it for dinner too, but you can be very conservative with it. Where I tend to see money is spent is in utilities. Electricity here tends to be more expensive. Water is really still affordable. I have a smaller condo, about 500 square feet, and on average, it's about $150 to $200 a month for electricity. I do always keep an AC on just because I'm in the tropics. I don't want mold, but you just learn to live with what you have. And I think coming from the States where utilities are really inexpensive, it's not uncommon for people to come down here to Belize and put the AC on 16 degrees and walk out of the room, or go to Secret Beach for the day and then come back, and they're living there. They'll get the utility bill and be like, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. But you can keep one AC on 25, 26 degrees Celsius and still have it be fresh in the room when you come back, or turn off the AC if you're not in the room. But regardless, there are still ways to live affordably here. Something else that I've learned is a little bit more expensive here in Belize generally is gas. I was living in New Orleans for a while where we were able to get gas when I left like $1.79 per gallon. Here, gas is about $5 US a gallon, but we're on an island, we drive golf carts, so it's not as if we are accruing lots of mileage to our carts, but just something, again, to bear in mind. I've learned to live within my means and really live locally in a sense where I don't necessarily go out to all the tourist places all the time, because that certainly can add up. The next and final question for this segment that I get quite a bit is, what do I like to do for fun, or what do you do on an island for fun? So yes, we're on an island, and we are about 15-minute puddle jumper ride away from the mainland Belize. And what I like to do in my free time is just adventure around. I'm a very adventurous person. Hop in the cart, go check out a new resort that I haven't been to before. Just yesterday, or a couple days ago, we went to one of the neighboring islands and did island hopping. And there, I rode a banana boat for the first time. I haven't done that ever. And we fed the tarpons, and what else did we do? We were able to feed the stingrays over there, and it's just a really neat experience. I've been here in the country for about 9 years, and I've just never done that before. So it was a really neat way to get more involved in the community and the local environment. Something I also really enjoy doing is going to the mainland, renting a car, going to the jungles, checking out the different beach communities. Although Belize is a small country, about the size of Massachusetts in terms of size, there's still a lot to do here, and a lot of adventurous things for people who like getting out. And maybe it's cave tubing, for example, or even hiking, or going to the different waterfalls. Belize is very abundant when it comes to outdoor activities, and there's a ton of wonderful wildlife here too. So for those of you who like birding, there's a lot there. Now, I came from close to New York City, so I was very used to being able to hop on the subway, or being able to go anywhere I wanted to go and have access to a lot of things within a 24 hour, and any time of the day. It could be like go to the Chinese restaurant at 3 a.m. if I wanted to. Here, we don't really have that. A lot of things close around 9, 10 o'clock p.m. But what I've learned is to just really appreciate what we have here. And we tend to live a lot more simply because we don't necessarily have the Amazon Prime that's coming within a couple of days, or those huge department stores, which you've heard me talk about before. We don't have Target, we don't have, Sam's Club, we don't have Home Depot or anything along those lines. So you just learn to live a lot more locally. But there's a lot to do and a lot of different ways to get involved in the community. And I think at the end of the day, for anybody who is looking to relocate or spend time in another country, find out what sort of activities and clubs or book clubs here that you can participate in. And there's just a lot of different networking things that you can do in order to get to meet other people. And that's important as well as you're planning your life here, your lifestyle generally in another country, is really understanding the community. So yes, I get asked about safety all the time. I get asked about cost of living here. I get asked about what there is to do for fun. And it just depends on you and how it is that you want to live your life in another country. But Belize, specifically here in Ambergris Caye, really has become home, has been a place where I felt comfortable. I feel safe. I'm able to live affordably, and in addition, get to experience a lot of new things that I can tell you I definitely would not have been doing if I was still in New York or the Northeast more generally. Is it safe? So I get that question quite a bit. I actually probably even got it more when I was living in Nicaragua. I think a lot of times when people hear about a single female, or anyone generally living in Latin America, the first thing that comes to mind is how dangerous it is, or they're going to get kidnapped, or the drug trade or whatnot. But safety really is relative, and we know that crime is localized. I think it was Malcolm Gladwell who, in one of his books, put together a really great piece. Maybe it was in Freakonomics, I don't remember, but he put together this great article about how crime really is localized, and that's true not just in your home country, but also in this part of the world. And if you don't go looking for trouble, you tend to not find the trouble. They say nothing good happens after midnight, and that's true across the board. But you have to be smart with your decisions. You don't want to go venturing around into a new neighborhood at 3 a.m. after a night out at the bar, but you just have to really be smart. And there's always the saying, you've probably heard of it, trust your gut. I would recommend that if something doesn't feel right, turn around and go back. You don't have to stay where you're going just because you're adventurous or whatever that case may be. Trust your gut. And so for me personally, knock wood, I've never had an encounter where I felt unsafe. In Nicaragua, there was one point I would go to the gym in the morning. The gym would open at about 5, so I'd leave my house at about 4:45 when it was still dark out, and I got chased by a dog. And that was probably one of the scariest things that has happened. But since then, you just have to be very aware of your surroundings, and you just have to understand that it's a new location, and you maybe you're living here, maybe you're just vacationing, whatever it may be, but just be smart and really think about something before you do it. But otherwise, I do feel very safe here. It was one of the primary reasons I chose living on Ambergris Caye. It's a small town feel, about 25,000 people. So, you have people who are looking out for you as you're driving up and down the roads in your golf carts, you're waving to friends and whatnot. And it's a really community sort of feel. And that was really important for me when I was looking at a place to relocate to and spend time. And I'm down here by myself. My family's still up in North America. So I wanted to have a place that felt comfortable and familiar. And, sometimes I think that we overlook the crime that's happening in our own country. I have an example. I was in Chicago, actually, downtown Chicago, with a couple of my Nicaraguan coworkers. We were there for a conference, and they went off to Starbucks in the morning to get themselves some coffee. They came back, and about 15 minutes later, that Starbucks that was in downtown Chicago had a shootout. And many of you may have heard of Nicaragua and think, oh, it's so dangerous there. But it was funny. My Nicaraguan coworker said to me, wow, well, I think I want to go back to Nicaragua. It seems really dangerous here in Chicago. And it was just funny to see that perspective on it as well. So crime is relative. It's really localized as well. And so just bear that in mind when you're thinking about where it is you want to spend time. Go there and see how you feel. Does it feel like a place that's familiar? Are you befriending others in the community where you feel like you have a network of people? That's really important in all of this as well. Well, I look forward to our next session. And in the meantime, everybody have a really great week. Bye-bye.
For more information on the Offshore Club or to contact Rachel Jensen, visit www.offshore.club today. www.offshore.club. That's www.offshore.club. See you next time at the Offshore Club.